What's up, beautiful people, and welcome back to another sexy comic book review video where I say words and you, the beautiful people, listen. It is I, your crazy Nicolas Cage, your steward of Gondor, your genius, billionaire playboy, basic YouTuber philanthropist, SuperCliff. And would you kindly hit that like and subscribe button, for every little bit helps in this majestic YouTube world. And today we are continuing our epic progression across the far reaches of DC's Infinite Frontier with Superman Action Comics, issue number 1029, the conclusion to the Golden Age story, which began back in Superman issue 29. And once more, this comic is written by Philip Kennedy Johnson, with the art drawn by Phil Hester. And away we go, as our story picks up following the events of Superman issue 29, where in Earth's orbit, a tear in space has opened, spewing forth hordes of green alien monsters in the process. Now, though this may come across as your typical day for Superman and Superboy, the fact of the matter is that with Superboy having had spent time in the future alongside the Legion of Superheroes, history has already been written. Thereby, John was able to learn the exact event which would end up killing his dad, killing Superman. Basically, the quote, green word bubbles, a day comes for every kid to see their heroes fall. And for John, that day is today, this being the day where Superman dies. Now, while our super dynamic father and son duo continue to battle the green aliens, fending off the hordes from attacking the Starlab space station, we're shown that Superman, who was wounded back in the previous issue by the aliens, is feeling pretty off, as if the wounds he receives are slowly killing him. Also, he's got a freaky blotch mark on his neck, and to be honest, that's pretty gross. So maybe he should get that checked out afterwards. I digress. Once Superman activates his heat vision, blasting back the aliens, the two heroes are then given a moment to check in on the space station's crew. And oh boy, are things inside the station a mess. Gravity systems are off, thrusters are out, singularity cannons detached, the station has an oxygen leak, they're essentially screwed. And on top of that, the aliens are prepping up for another attack. Now, while John helps the crew to repair the station's various damages, Superman and the Starlab scientists begin going over their options towards closing the breach permanently. One of the scientists suggests that they close the tear from the other side. However, as this dude is explaining his reason, he accidentally mentions that the breach was originally opened from their side, and with Superman standing right there, our Man of Steel is demanding an explanation. From there, the scientist explains to Superman that the first breach was an accident, and though they tried to seal it up immediately afterwards, Amanda Waller got wind of their work, and so she ordered the Starlab station to continue their study because of the effect it had on Superman. But besides the fact that Star Labs were studying ways to wound Superman, in regards to shutting the tear permanently, the scientists mentioned that the station's singularity cannon has an independent energy source. Therefore, if Superman takes it and uses it to close the breach from the other side, it will result in the tear's permanent closure. But before Superman and John head out, Superman informs the Star Labs people that after all this is said and done, the scientists, Amanda Waller, and Superman are going to have quite a lengthy conversation, one in which they will not like. Now, before Superman and Superboy head back out into space, John notices that his father's hurt. Superman tells him not to worry about it, but John is adamant in telling his dad to stay inside the station. But Clark, being Clark, is like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, I can't let you go out there by yourself. You're my son. Plus, I'm Superman, bro. Like, it will hurt my brain. I digress. Now, while Superman is struggling and coughing as he's talking to John, John straight up tells his dad that he doesn't make it back okay, and that this is the event where Superman dies. John reveals to his dad that in the future, there will be tons of books written about this day, books John himself has read, referencing that this breach, along with this fight that the two of them are currently in, it's in the future where this is one of the last documented incidents that Superman of Earth is a part of. John continues, mentioning that these green aliens, each time they come through the breach, the more hostile they become. And with this being the third breach opening, the book says that the aliens proved to be too much of a challenge for Superman. Now, although John makes sure to mention that a good chunk of the details were lost over time, the fact of the matter is that in the end, Superman isn't around long enough following this battle. However, despite all the information given to him by John, Superman refuses to allow the future to dictate events happening in the present. For Superman assures his son that even though he knows his son is scared, and why, yes, Superman did in fact take some hits during the fight, Superman promises that he isn't feeling as badly as John thinks. Yeah, maybe Superman is getting a little older in his superhero career, and perhaps he's not as strong as he possibly once was, but regardless, it doesn't matter, because in the end, a lot of innocent people are counting on them to do the right thing. Therefore, as a whole, Superman reiterates that both he and Superboy got this. And indeed, our heroes do, as both Superman and Superboy are seen flying back out into space to confront the aliens once and for all. Now, while this action scene is being played out, with our two heroes prepping out the station's detached cannon, again, we the reader are given more green word bubbles. However, throughout Superman issue 29 in this issue, we were sort of led to believe that the green bubbles talking were in truth John's. However, they actually belong to Superman. This entire time, it was Superman talking about the Golden Age, and the day when a parent's child sees their limitations, where they realize their heroes, people of unparalleled strength and wisdom, were actually just like them all along. For parents fall short, just like their kids do. For in the end, we all make mistakes. Thereby, a parent is as human, just as anyone else is. But on the other side of that day is an empowering truth. For when that day comes when a parent lets their children down, their children will be given the opportunity to step out from their parent's shadow. And from there, they will be able to see that they have grown tall, strong, and brave, and were able to learn first from their parents' examples along with their mistakes. As a result, they were able to find the tools and the confidence in order to overcome the obstacles that they couldn't. For the moment that a child steps out of their golden age, putting themselves to the ultimate test, that's when it becomes clear that being a parent is what it's all about, to help their children see that they didn't need their parents after all. For in truth, they are their own person, their own symbol of truth and justice. And it's with that, where following Superboy's heroic actions, Superman and Superboy were able to close the breach. Afterwards, back down on Earth, Superman apologizes to John, as he didn't even consider the fact that John was so sure he was going to die, nor the fact that John might have been right. Yet despite recent events, Superman mentions on just how proud he is of John and the manner in which he handled himself. John, however, is extremely puzzled, for he was so sure that today was the beginning of the end for Superman. But according to Superman, it's pretty obvious as to why he managed to survive, and that it was all thanks to his son. John then mentions that what if the history books in the 31st century were right? Because according to John, he doesn't know if he'll ever be ready for when the day comes when his father is no longer around. Superman then tells his son the story about when he saw Pa Kent fall off a ladder. For Clark recalls back when his dad fell, it was a really scary moment for him. However, his dad told Clark something that he would never forget, that being the Golden Age, when every kid knows their parents are indestructible and that they never fall and will always know what the right thing is. Yet, everyone does fall down, and that's okay. And that someday, Clark's kids will see him fall too, and that will be okay as well. Because it's in that moment, when your kid steps out of their golden age and begins to test themselves, you'll understand right then and there what it was all for. And it's with that where Superman tells John that his dad was right, and that John is going to be just fine. Now, if you thought this had a happy ending, then you haven't been paying attention, because elsewhere we see some really evil-looking dudes are spying on Superman through a screen. One of these dudes mentions that the son is powerful, and that the son speaks truth, for the father is indeed dying. These servants then ask their master, who's cloaked in shadow, whether or not such a being can wither and die. It's here where their master, who is revealed to be Mongol, says that Superman lives, and therefore all who live must die. And as Mongol says this, we can see the aliens, whom are the ones attacking from the breach, standing behind Mongol, as the villain begins prepping up for his next attack, for War World Rising. Our next story is a backup featuring Midnighter, written by Becky Cloonan and Michael W. Conrad, with the art by Michael A. Van Demming. And following the events in the Future State backup Midnighter strip, the Future State Midnighter from War World is trying to live in the present day. And so, like any story featuring Midnighter, the story takes place during the middle of the night, where Midnighter, who has just received a robotic upgrade, is shown taking out a group of mercenaries in hilarious, gruesome fashion. Basically, the scene is giving us the everyday nightlife of Midnighter. Later, back at his home, Midnighter, aka Lucas, is shown chilling while watching some TV, where Andrej Trojan, the CEO of Trojan Solutions, is being interviewed by the news regarding his newly published book. Suddenly, Midnighter begins hearing a voice talking within his head. The voice in his head then begins threatening Lucas, telling him that if Lucas isn't willing to work together alongside the voice in order to return back to their future timeline, then he will bring Midnighter's lover, Apollo, into their mess. For this supercomputer views love as a weakness. Therefore, for his and Apollo's sake, Midnighter should definitely consider working for the supercomputer. Or else. Action Comics issue 1029 was another great addition brought to us by Superman's new writer, Philip Kennedy Johnson. It's very obvious that while reading this issue, Philip Kennedy Johnson understands Superman. In addition, I also get a sense that the man clearly understands the feeling when a child reaches their moment of growth, the becoming of their own identity. Basically, as Johnson puts it into this story, the Golden Age, whereas we being sons and daughters have a moment where we're able to see the flaws of our parents and or caregivers, therefore providing us an opening where we can mark our own legacy, our own agency. And I have to say, using the Golden Age as a way to relate to us, the readers, was really well done. And honestly, it's true. And I love seeing that Clark learned this lesson of the Golden Age from his dad after falling off the ladder. Honestly, it's just a really well-crafted Superman moment, and I can't wait for more moments similarly executed to come later down the road. Phil Hester's art, though it looks outdated at times, it's really catchy, and it grants a welcoming look for new readers, whilst providing a sense of fun. The Midnighter backup story by Becky Cloonan and Michael W. Conrad was pretty cool. It had this dark, gritty comedic side to it that I thought was fun, and thanks to the awesome art done by Michael Avon Deming, it was also weirdly playful at times. And though I'm not the biggest Midnighter fan or a Wildstorm fan of that matter, I'm interested in seeing where Midnighter goes and seeing how connected this backup gets with his Future State story. So, hell yeah, keep it coming. Overall, Action Comics Superman issue number 1029 was a great start for Philip Kennedy Johnson's Action Comics run and a great conclusion for the Golden Age story. Definitely excited for more of his Superman, especially with the next story featuring Warworld. And you know what that means? Mongol time, baby. Action Comics issue 1029 gets an 8.5 out of 10. Giggity, giggity goo.